obviously this topic is in my head because Neely's banging a very young girl.
Oh, my God. Where is this going?
Have you, in your existence, and I'll go, obviously, this is a before Stephanie existence, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you banged somebody significantly younger than you? Like at least 10 years?
You know what's funny is that I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. I'm trying to think of the youngest.
This is a yes or a no. Have you banged somebody 10 years younger than you?
That I recall, no.
What's the most years difference?
The most years difference was actually older.
No, I don't want that. I want younger.
I was 10 years younger than somebody that I banged.
No, I want
when
younger.
I was 22.
I want younger.
Let me think. Honestly, I think it was only like 5-6 years.
Really?
When I think it was like 23, 24. And they were 18.
Because the youngest that I've gone with would obviously have been Teresa. And I was 44 and she was 32. So 12 years.
That almost doesn't count because when she's in her 30s, it's like at that point, it's, you're completely mature and everything.
Well, that's it.
So.
I mean, it wasn't that fucking nicety.
Yeah.
It wasn't that, look at the trophy.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder, when I was 21 years old and whatever, I was banging my ex who was also the same age as me. So,
yeah.
So I don't know, is the pussy better when it's younger? Or does it really just depend on the chick and how she works it?
I just think it depends on the chick. I can't say that I've ever noticed like a vast difference.
Because I mean...
A vast difference.
When I was with Teresa, there was definitely some excitement level to a fucking younger chick. There was definitely excitement to the younger... Fucking dog is pissing me off.
Damn, there goes our air conditioning.
No shit. But, no, I just wonder. I mean, Neely's banging something so much younger.
Yeah, that's 29 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to feel like a fucking, like a soft, unworn out velvet glove.
Personally, I don't buy into the whole it gets loosened up theory anyway. So I don't
necessarily loosened up, but it's...
Well, then why would it feel any different?
Because it's less wet and it's less excited and it's less...
I completely disagree with that.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I completely disagree with that.
I don't know. I guess it depends. Like me, I'm a big pussy eating guy, so I make sure that it's all fucking really fucking soaked.
And honestly, the more... God, I hope my wife isn't killing me for this, but like whenever I've been with people, like the older ones have been the more excited ones, the more like crazy ones, the more lubricated, I guess is the best way to phrase it in terms of like the wetness and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the older ones have been better. You know, yeah, and I really across the board. Even when I was younger, if I was like hooking up with somebody older, it was better than hooking up with somebody younger.
Yeah,
that experience is there, and it's like it's just better.
I'm trying to think. It's so hard to rate too between older and younger. It really is kind of hard to rate because it almost says something about yourself. If it's fucking bad. I don't know. Have you ever banged out a chick that really was like, ugh, this is fucking shit?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Now, when you did that, did you question yourself?
No, not at all.
I did. I totally did.
Not me.
I'll tell the story. Whatever. I don't give a shit.
Right?
This was when I was in Korea.
Oh, here we go with this again.
And the girl, there was this girl, I can't remember her name, otherwise I would say it. But probably better I don't.
Suck some dude, yuck some dude.
No, it was an American chick. And I was out at the bar, and we used to just get fucked up at the bar. And I got completely fucking wasted, just totaled.
Right.
And I don't know what it was, but I was so wasted that this chick looked hot because in real life she really wasn't that hot.
Right.
But I was so ripped that I was like, oh, I got to fuck this chick. So I picked up this chick. I go over to her and I fucking Rico Suave her ass with fucking drinks. Let me tell you what my game was. Drinks.
Your pickup line was Jack Daniels.
Yeah, my pickup line was, what do you want to drink and how many do I got to buy? So I pick up this chick and we're in this club. It's like a dance club kind of a thing. And we start dancing on the dance floor and she starts fucking pawing my fucking dick and whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, well, shit, let's go. I'm like, let's go back to the barracks. And she's like, all right, cool. So we get back to the barracks, and now I'm gonna remind you again. This is when I was 17 years old, so I really didn't have a lot of game. I'm 17 years old. I'm in another country. I'm working whatever I got. So I get back to the barracks, and she's like, let's watch a movie. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's watch a movie. So we start watching a movie, and then within like 13 seconds of watching the movie,
right,
we start making out and whatever, and I fucking undo my belt and fucking pull my dick out. And she just fucking starts sucking my dick.
Right.
But it was like the worst head ever. She was one of those that fucking, literally she thinks that giving head is only the head.
Yep.
She was one of those that just fucking works the fucking head of your dick.
That was my first BJ.
And it was god awful. It was awful to the point that I let her go for like 4 or 5 minutes. Right. And then I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And I got up and I rolled her over and I took her pants off her. And I fucking went up in this chick from behind.
I got to tell you that Holly's in the chair. She says she's 32 and has never done a dude younger than her. And she just said, I only care about dick. What's attached doesn't matter. That's a woman you need to hang out with.
I love her. Holly's my friend. But no, so I start banging this chick fucking
from behind, yeah,
doggy style, across these fucking bunk beds of our fucking barracks.
Okay.
And I'm not getting any friction at all. This chick has I kid you not, she had a pussy that was just fucking gigantic. Who is this?
Let's see.
It's not Neely.
Who is it?
I don't know, but I just killed it.
Well, put him on. Might be something good.
But it's not ringing on the fucking thing. If it doesn't ring on there, I can't get it.
Well, how do we get it on there? What if it's Holly explaining how much she loves any dick?
It's not. So I go and I'm like in this chick and I'm really not getting any friction at all. I'm feeling, and I'm literally fucking grinding side to side as much as in and out, trying to get some fucking action.
At that point, what's the point?
And there was just nothing there. So after like about 2 or 3 minutes, I was like, all right, that's it. And I was so fucked up anyway that I just fucking got up on my bed and went to sleep. And now here's where it gets fucked up, though.
Oh, no.
Because the next day, she tells all of her friends that I fucked her and not well.
Really?
And I'm like, what the hell? So, of course, I strike back the way I always do. And I start calling this chick Four Fingers because her pussy was so goddamn big that I fucking couldn't fucking hit it from side to side. And I don't know if it just meant my cock was too small for her fucking gape or what. But this chick, I mean, I swear to God, if you put 3 like this together, you could go up in her without any fucking resistance.
I've never had anything like that.
It was huge. It was the biggest goddamn puss ever. And so this is so bad, but I'll just tell it anyway.
Chat room picture.
So everybody starts calling this chick Four Fingers. To the point that after about a month, I get called in to our unit commander.
Metal Gamer guy, you're thinking about the Sarlacc pit. The pit of Carcoon, that's the Sarlacc you're thinking of.
It was a big fucking hole, dude.
Excellent Star Wars reference in the chat room.
It was.
There's also a picture from AOR Rocks, a gif of a chick shooting an apple out of her puss.
Dude, it was about like that.
It's right on your screen if you turn around, too. It's right behind you.
That's about it.
Oh, my God.
That's about it. There was no... Dude, I'm telling you, there was no fucking tightness at all. No grip.
How is that even possible? I've never had that, dude.
I don't know how it's possible either. It's the only time it ever happened to me.
Yeah, I've never had that happen.
But I'm telling you, I know I was up in the chick. I know I was hammered, but I know I was up in the chick. And I was literally kind of fucking twisting side to side to get some feel. Ugh. There was no feel to this fucking big, giant, gaping pussy.
I've never had that.
And I'm telling you, I was like, literally 3 fingers would not have got all of it. It was a huge fucking puss.
And that's definitely not a size of your dick problem at that point either. That's definitely a size of her puss problem.
No, this was like she needed to be doing Kegels every minute of her fucking life.
Oh my God.
To fucking... I honestly think that maybe she had been pregnant and got stuck at 7 centimeters. She just had a big, giant gaper. It was a big fucking pussy.
Yeah, never. I've had bad lays, but never one like that.
That was the worst. And the worst part was that then I got in trouble for coining her forefinger. And that was the worst.
Why?
Because the first sergeant calls me, or the commander rather,
Jesus
calls
Christ,
me in
AOR Rocks. Where are you getting this stuff?
And he's like, why are you harassing this girl? And I was like, I'm not harassing this girl. If everybody else is calling her forefinger, maybe there's some truth.
Yeah, I'm not harassing. I'm just speaking the truth.
Yeah, but it was so bad, dude. It was so, and she had a decent body. Her face was kind of...
She had butterface?
She was typical of what I would bang back then.
What do you mean back then?
Well, now. Yeah, now too.
Every once in a while, I have to say, you're not the most selective.
I'm not selective. I don't give a shit.
You're like Gene Simmons, dude.
But you know what? You know why? Because I'm not trying to find a relationship.
Well, still.
No, not still. If you're not trying to find a relationship, you'll just bang it out.
You have to have some kind of standards, dude.
Why?
Because you got to be able to get hard somehow. It's like Robert Plant said in Hammer of the Gods when they were talking about the plaster casters, and all these rock stars were getting boners and having their fucking like boners like taking making casts or molds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he never did because he was like, who the hell can get harder on those fat chicks? Like,
yeah, but dude, if
like,
you don't, if all you care about.
God, dude, you are missing some memes.
I don't care.
These gifts.
I know.
You should care.
I'm sure it's fucking brutal.
You should care.
But if all you care about is pussy, and that's truly all you care about, I'm not saying
there has to be attraction to what's attached to it.
No,
at least
there
a little
doesn't.
bit.
No,
Yes,
there does
does
not.
Yes, there does. That's
There really
disgusting.
doesn't. There really doesn't have to be any attraction.
Yeah, there definitely does.
No, there don't. Not to me.
Yeah.
To me, I'll bang it out once, anytime.
Yeah.
I'll bang any of it once.
That's disgusting.
I don't care. I'm not looking for a wife. I'm not looking for a
even
girlfriend.
when I was single, I was the same way. But you have to be attracted to someone to get a hard on. Just a
No,
pussy.
you don't.
If just a pussy being there is not enough to get you a boner, dude.
Dude, I'm going to tell you straight up. Any chick, she can weigh as much as I do. If she's sucking my dick, it will be hard. I don't care.
You have
I
a
don't
problem.
care. No, I don't have a problem. I just want the nut.
Holly, guys are not that different. Aiken is different.
Am I?
Yeah. Holly said, I need a bit of attraction. Guys are different.
I don't need any of it.
I got to have something, dude. I'm sorry. Some giant Clydesdale looking woman.
That doesn't matter once.
Ugh.
Doesn't matter once.
No.
You know what?
Definitely matters.
You know when it matters? When you're starting to find it for fucking real.
No, it does not. Even a one-nighter, I can't. There's no way.
I could go with anything for a one-nighter. I
No.
don't give a shit.
No.
That's why the hooker thing is appealing to me.
Yeah, but the hookers will actually be somewhat attractive.
You don't know that? No, that's untrue.
They have to be, or else they wouldn't be able to charge fucking money.
Untrue.
You know why? Because there's guys like me that won't fucking pay for it if it looks like the ass end of a fucking northbound horse.
But there's also guys like me.
Yeah, but there's way more guys like me.
But if she shows up at the door, there's more guys like me that don't have the stones to tell a chick to fucking go away.
Dude, Demon wants to know how many STDs do you have?
I have none. I've never had one. And believe me, I should have got some in Korea because Lord knows I never wore a condom. Never.
I don't know how you do it. So by your logic though, so if it's just about getting laid and having a hole to put it in, how can you say you've ever had bad sex? Because you, it's
not very good. You know,
but if you're just busting a nut, all that matters is you get a nut. Where is there a line between good and bad if all you're doing is just,
it's still about motion and whatever. It's still about how they work. I mean, I have definitely fucked some really dead. I banged this one chick, and I dated her, which is even worse, and I probably shouldn't say her name, but whatever. Her name was Deanna Dennison. And so,
and now everyone's running to Facebook for that one.
Nah, she's not on Facebook. Or she might be, but she's not under that name,
God.
Whatever her real name is.
Nathan from Kentucky.
Jesus Christ. But this girl, Deanna, I'll tell, this is another really fun story. So I was out partying, and I had this friend that was in another unit, this friend named Carl. He was in another unit than we were. And he was trying to bang Deanna. And I guess he had been banging Deanna.
Okay.
And Deanna was more or less just kind of like my friend. She was a dirty, dirty girl. But I had not fucked her at all.
Right, Holly?
Right. And so one night, me and him got in a fight over this girl, Deanna.
Okay.
Because she was my friend, and he said some fucking shitty thing about her, and I punched him in the face.
Oh my God.
And me and him got in this vicious fight where he ended up, and I won't lie, he beat my ass.
Right.
He beat me. He had a roll of quarters in his fucking hand, and I mean, he split me wide fucking open. And I was literally left laying in the street, fucking pouring blood out of my head. I mean, he beat the shit out of me. So I got stitched up, and I went back to the barracks, and she came down to make sure I was okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay.
So you took a beating for one of the worst lays of your life.
Well, and that's what it was because,
oh my God.
Because next thing I know, this led to that, led to this. She's sucking my dick. And she did suck a good dick. I will say that. But
apparently she better have.
But then it led to actual fucking.
Right.
And it was like Paris Hilton in the fucking movie.
Oh.
It was just, I'm fucking pumping away, and she's like looking at her watch.
Just body temperature away from necrophilia.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really bad. Ugh. And I was like, and she was a cute girl. I mean, she really was cute, but just had zero. And I was like, whatever.
I've had that too. I had a couple that were just like really hot, and then you get in there and you're like, oh my God, this is pointless.
And it's a lot less hot.
Yeah, it really is.
It is. But you could take a chick. See, this is the part you don't fucking prescribe to, and admittedly,
or subscribe if you
subscribe or whatever. I'm drunk. You can go the other way, and you can get a chick that's not all that hot. In fact, not hot at all. But she will go.
Well, because she has to.
Okay, but that's okay.
Joke. Not for me, man.
But that's okay, because she will go.
But there's always like the girls that are actually attractive and will still go. I'm not just going to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, but you scrape the bottom of the barrel till you find somebody else.
No.
Why not scrape the bottom of the barrel until you fucking find one that's fucking swimming in like the 2-foot water?
No.
And then the 4-foot water, and then the 6-foot water.
No.
Yes.
No, it's no.
That's my mantra now. I don't care. But again, I go back to the point that you did not live by. You, from the time you were let's just say 30, okay, the last 10 years or whatever, you were looking for more than just pussy.
No.
Yeah, you were.
No. See, and even Steph disagree. Steph doesn't understand this about me, that like I have two completely different set of rules where it comes to fucking and relationships. There's two very, very different.
Right.
And even when it's just like fucking, like she insists, well, as long as they have big tits, that's all you like. No, there has to be some kind of attraction where at least once I can get like hard around it. It's like, okay, I could see something attractive to get it up. No. But if there's nothing there, what's there to get you a hard on just because they have a pussy?
Because it's pussy. I'm in for just pussy.
Dead chicks have pussies too. You gonna fuck that?
Well,
yeah. See, yeah, good. Yeah, microwave it.
Yeah, warm it up a little bit. Fucking rub some Vaseline in there. It's all good. Flakes off. Me and Stephanie had that one day.
Oh my God, that's right.
We had that discussion one. Dude, the worst part about that was at the beginning of the show too. That was like fucking 5 minutes in, and we were talking about fucking pussy flaking off like a fish.
She told me that. And she's like, I'm not getting into that kind of crap with him this time.
Whatever.
And sure enough, first segment there it was.
First segment, she was right there with me.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of, I've never ever been like that. Even when I was like
so
like
for
a total
you,
virgin.
So for you, let's just say you had a chick that's, let's say 40 pounds overweight.
Okay. I've done that.
Or a straight up hot hooker that definitely is going nowhere.
Well, 40 pounds overweight isn't that bad. And also,
60 pounds overweight.
I don't think I've done that.
So 60 pounds overweight, I'm going to give you A or B. You can bang out the one that's really into you, but she's 60 pounds overweight.
If we're just talking about banging, it depends on the attraction.
Oh, hold on. She's 60 pounds overweight, but she's into you. Or you can buy a hooker that is absolutely mint, but you know it's going nowhere.
Well, again, it's different. If it's just for fucking, it's which one am I attracted to?
Yeah, well, if it's just for fucking, you go with the hooker.
Well, it depends on which one I think is hotter.
It would be the hooker. That's
you would
like
think so.
In perfect shape.
You would think so. Yeah. So but I mean, in that case, yeah. But that's a little different than the topic. I mean, I'm saying that, I have to have something attractive. Like,
see,
your question should have been like, okay, is 60 pounds overweight and slightly attractive, or someone who's only 20 pounds overweight, but is the most nasty thing in the world, you have absolutely zero attraction to. Which one would you take?
I'd take
just because one is, more, in shape than the other. I mean, it's
right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
I would go for either one.
Of course you would.
Dude, the funny thing is, I swear to God, I'll bet you think this is just like sort of a gimmick for me.
Oh, I know you. I know anything you say is not a gimmick.
I'm dead serious. I would, when I was on my dating fucking run, when I was dating a new person every day, and you remember that time.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Fucking what was it, 30 girls in fucking 3 months or something?
Yes.
It was some ridiculous amount of fucking chicks.
Steph and I were always like, if it hits 3 weeks, let's...
Exactly.
Like, we're like 2.5 weeks
and
is
none
like
of
the
it
cutoff.
And none of it ever did.
Nope.
None of it ever did. But when I was on that run, there were chicks that just weren't going anywhere, and I knew that, but I still banged them. Go ahead, read what they're saying.
No, it's just they're throwing like memes and stuff in there.
Yeah. I mean, you remember that there was a lot of chicks that I knew was not going anywhere, but I still banged it out just because it was pussy.
See, I can't do it.
I'm in that zone.
I can't. I've never been even when I was like I would have had to hang a pork chop around my neck to have my dog play with me. Like fucking when I was that goddamn ugly. Like even then I was like I can't do that.
See, but I just look at it now like I don't care. I don't want a relationship. I really don't want. It's interesting. And I probably shouldn't go here, but whatever. I've been chatting up this one girl a lot.
Oh, boy.
Another one. One that I chatted up before, but because of the museum taking off, I just didn't have time.
Okay.
But she waited, and now she's still around.
Have you banged her out yet?
No, I have not. I went out with her a few times.
Is this in Pittsburgh or Cleveland?
No, here.
Here in Cleveland?
Here,
okay.
the one Diana chick. I don't care if her name's out there. I don't know that you met her. You didn't meet her.
No, the only ones I've met were Teresa and the two
and
Kellys.
The Kellys.
Yeah, those are the only two.
But with this one, she's hung around, and
right.
She's back in the picture, and I'm still talking to her, and we'll see, But I mean, she's definitely not a 10. So what?
You better hope she's not listening.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit because you know what? And as I always say, that is not, if I go into a relationship scenario, the relationship doesn't start with the fucking perfection of her tits.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I have two different criteria.
I definitely have a criteria for dating, and it has nothing to do with physical at all. It really doesn't. It has a lot more to do with, can I fucking relate to the chick, and can she deal with the insanity that is me?
Yeah.
Because that's not easy.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to admit I am very difficult to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
With my life and the way I'm back and forth in businesses and fucking at times just throwing fucking massive amounts of alcohol.
Right.
And you know this, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I roll. And that is not going to be easy for anybody to date.
No.
No fucking way. And that's okay, because I'm okay with that. I could certainly play the game. I could certainly say, well, here's my days that I'm home, and, I'm going to be home for this time, and we could spend time together, and we could go walk through the park. And
Holly wants to know if she would be able to put up with you.
Holly Callahan?
Her name is just Holly.
That's Holly that works in the bar.
What bar?
In Canada. Holly, if you're the one that is in Canada that works in the bar, just say that you are. But if it's that Holly, she'd have a tough time. And she deals with a lot of fucking obnoxious douchebags. John, you have to answer that more than me. I'm not easy.
No.
I'm on a scale of guys.
She said yes.
On a scale of guys, I'm probably upper tier difficult. True? Because the way I live, does not make sense to any standard that anybody would have.
But I think that's the reason why you would land a cool chick. That's one of the reasons why I think Steph and I work out so well is because, Steph is by far not the average woman. And for that reason, it works with us because I do all this.
Right.
The shit that's coming out of my mouth this show tonight, any other woman would listen to this and be like, it's over. I'm never speaking to you again. And my wife's probably, if she's still listening, she's probably just going, what a dummy. He's such an idiot.
But even Steffi, and I have said to Steffi 100 times, she's like 85% for me.
For you, yeah.
For me. I could never date Stephanie. I could never, if she was single and I was fucking buffed up and, whatever, I still couldn't date Stephanie. Because some of her shit I could never deal with. She would hate me so goddamn bad in a relationship because it just wouldn't work. I mean, the dynamic wouldn't work. And she's as close as about anybody I could as anybody I could ever point to. She's about as close as I could fucking come because she understands this.
Yeah.
And she understands me when I'm not fucking on 100.
Yeah.
And she understands the alcohol, and she understands the drive, and she understands all those pieces.
Yeah.
But even with all that, I would make Stephanie nuts, as I do anyway,
right?
In fucking 180 seconds.
I just think it's your inability to stop.
I don't have
every once in a while, and that's our thing is it's when I don't stop, and then she's ready to calm down. Like if I'm still going. Yeah. No matter if it's in terms of partying at night or in a conversation or yada yada, right. that's one thing that I've had to learn is to like hit the brakes so that we're on the stand on the same page. Whereas you couldn't give a fuck. There's no break, and it's
there
like
is no break. And you're 50 times more mellow than me. Not that you're a mellow guy. You're not,
no.
But you're
compared to you, yeah.
Anybody compared to me is mellow.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, no matter what, you know, I've literally had my own mom, who knows me as well as anybody, tell me that I'm absolutely fucking off the rails crazy.
Oh yeah,
because it doesn't click. People don't get it, and my close friends. You, Steffi, Neely, Matt, whatever, sort of get it. But with every one of my close friends, and you can state this, there are definitely times where you're like, what the fuck is that motherfucker doing?
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, and it doesn't have to be crazy shit. It doesn't have to be fucking booze.
Yeah.
It can be me ending up in the hospital because I just choose not to sleep for 6 fucking weeks. And y'all are like, what the hell?
It's like I always tell you, man, you are the best word to describe you is extreme, and it's literally in every way.
It really is.
It's like, I mean, you know, you're extreme in your drive, you're extreme in your drinking, you're extreme in your insanity, you're extreme in your stubbornness, and but you're also, you know, extreme in your dedication and, you know, how much you, like, bust your ass for your friends and shit like that. So, and, you know, that's why, you know, these girls, the ones that would get you, you know, it takes a special kind of chick because you have to get through all of that craziness.
Right.
To see the
to
you
figure
that,
it out.
Yeah, that those of us in the quote-unquote core 9, that's we know you like that, you know? It's
and I have challenged all of you to fucking deal with it. On some levels, you know, there are definitely times, I think everybody can point to a time where they're like, man, what the fuck? You know, I wrote about it in my book.
Yeah.
You know, Matt's one of my best friends in the world, and I pushed that motherfucker as close to the edge as anybody should ever get to. That motherfucker should have never spoken to me again. Honestly, he should have, you know, I took money out of his pocket.
Well, I think the thing is, though, that, like, you are also extreme in your honesty to where if one of us says, go fuck yourself, you're being a fucking dick, you go, fuck you. Like, you instantly are, you may be extreme, but in your head, you're also...
Well, I'll challenge it.
You'll challenge it, but you're also kind of thinking, okay, maybe did I do something? You're never just going, no, I'm right. Like, you are still that teeny bit rational. And don't deny it. You are still that teeny bit rational to where you're like, okay... You know, if one of us calls you out, you know that we know you well enough that there might be some value to it.
Yeah,
so.
it's a weird place, and and I swear, I do try to figure it out, and I can't figure it out myself. You know, and that's the most frustrating part of any of it.
Right,
is that I can't figure it out. You know, everybody else that I know understands themselves. You know, everybody that I know understands themselves. They may not like where they're at, or they may not like their gig, or they may not like, you know, they might want to, whatever, lose some weight or fucking get a better gig or whatever it is. I don't have any of that, but I do have definite moments where I'm like, I don't get who the fuck I am. You know, I have moments where, yeah, I had one this morning where I was sitting around this morning, as dumb as this is. and when I say this, you won't even believe that I was thinking this, but I swear to God, and it's true. I was like, man, I have been tremendously unproductive this month. And I was like, believing that. I'm like, well, I was watching some TV or something, and I was like, what are you fucking doing? You should be in there fucking doing this or doing that or whatever. And I was like, man, how unproductive are you? There's so much more you could have got done this month. Meanwhile, if you compare me to damn near anybody else on the planet, there's nobody that works like this. Nobody.
Well, you're on a different level than other people, too. There's a different standard there.
Yeah, but it's a standard I've set. I don't have to do this.
No, true, but
I don't have to own 2 businesses and do a radio show and write books I don't have to do all these things all at the same time. But I don't know what else to do.
Well, that's why it's not abnormal for you, because that's your normal.
Well, whether it's my normal or not, it's not normal. And that goes back to what I was saying with the chicks. Chicks don't get it. They have a very hard time. The closest I've come to being into something that I sort of felt like could have really turned into something was Kelly, Broke Leg Kelly.
Yeah, Broke Leg Kelly.
Because she got me, not because of like a physical attraction or any of that kind of shit, but she got it. She understood this. She understood real life. I was willing to adapt to her, which is rare for me.
Very much so.
I'm not usually willing to adapt
Right.
to anything.
Right.
And even that just, fell apart after a certain amount of time because it's very hard to deal with. I don't even know how to put this. When I'm saying, well, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and the other person doesn't have
the lack of time that you're able to spend?
Not the
You think that's it?
time. Not the time. But I almost
Nathan said, what about the girl who took your shoes?
Well, that didn't go that far. No, I almost think that when I start reeling off what I'm doing, that's intimidating. Because
I don't think it's intimidating so much. It really is the amount of time.
Well, there's that.
Because anybody I've ever been with, like being in bands and having, like, especially when Gatlin was going and I was practicing like 2 nights a week and I had shows and, the complaint was, well, I never see you. I never see you. That's like been the main complaint because,
Right.
I mean, even though I'm not nearly as busy as you, compared to like the average guy, I'm very busy.
Sure.
And so I hear even Steph, God bless her, man. Like,
I
even,
know.
we were just talking about it today. She says, well, I don't see you enough. I don't see you enough. And it's like, for me, I'm thinking, well, we had 2 nights this week, and for me, that's normal. But
Right.
for the average
Well, no,
relationship,
yeah,
they're used to
and-
5 or 6 nights a week, or even 7. So,
and with Steffi, I mean, Steffi will say to me all the time, she'll say to me, she'll go, I wish I could stay home for a weekend.
yeah,
And it's like, and I get that because God knows I wish I could stay home for a weekend. I'm happy this weekend. You know why? Because I'm sleeping in my own bed last night
right,
and tonight. And that's like, wow.
yeah,
You know.
that's mine. Tonight I didn't have a gig. And I mean, I'm behind a mic again, but it's just talking. I don't have to, worry
Yeah,
about my
but this-
breathing and my warm-ups.
Yeah,
Like,
but
so
this
for
is-
me, this is like a vacation.
This is just me and you fucking around, though.
Yeah, but it's also not a gig. I'm not sitting there worrying
Right.
about my voice and, doing my steaming and my honey and all that shit.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
well, this is a rare moment where neither one of us has an obligation. And that has been my biggest burden, especially the last 9 months.
yeah.
Is obviously I have an obligation in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fucking, I mean, you've been there. It's fucking not, this is not some fucking douchebag that fucking has a paper route.
Right.
This is like a major, major, major legitimate business that literally came out of my head. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
came out of Ed's garage too, but,
Yeah.
but I mean, this whole thing came out of my head and it's like, I can't slow down. And the various girls, both here and in Pittsburgh, that I have gone out with or whatever, don't get it. They're on both sides. They're like, well, this here, it's like, well, this will slow down. They say that to me. They'll say, well, this will slow down for you eventually. And up there, they're like, well, you could just make time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
You're less important. Hate to say it, but that's just the truth.
Well, that's the crux of the issue, though.
Yeah.
Like, the woman, like, never wants to feel like they're less important.
But they are less important.
Well,
They're
that
never
may
gonna
be, but I mean that's the problem, and
they're never going to be more important to me than fucking success.
Well, that's the issue, the true issue there.
That's really what it is.
That's why you need to just go with hookers, like you said, because
but I don't
worry about it.
But at the same time, everybody seems to think that I should be trying to date somebody. I hear that a lot. Look, you accused me of that a couple weeks ago.
Really?
With Carolyn.
I didn't accuse you of anything there. I asked the question.
You asked the question. Why?
It was just a wondering.
But why?
Because it was just a wondering.
Because it makes sense.
No, it was just wondering.
That if I was spending a little bit of time with her, that I naturally should be.
No, I just
moving forward.
I asked, is there interest there?
Steffi asked me too.
It's just a random question.
Yeah, and I love Carolyn. She's a sweetheart and a half, but no, and for the same reasons as before. Don't have time, don't have interest, honestly could not commit to anything full-time in the first fucking place.
True.
And if I do anything right, it's that I commit, I'm all in or I'm all out. I'm never halfway in, with anything. And that's just not how I want to live. I don't want to do that, so.
No, that's... And ironically, like, if you were going to date somebody, like, she'd be the coolest chick probably to do it with. But, yeah, I just think with you, your mind has not been in a dating spot in so long.
Right, well, that's true.
But if you were looking for somebody to date, they're out there. I've always believed that, like, people like you and I, like, the way that we live weeds out the average chicks. Because, and I don't want to, like sound like being misogynist or anything like that, but... like the average everyday kind of girl in a relationship, I could never ever handle, and you couldn't either.
No, I say it all the time with with so many girls that I go out with. How many times have you heard me say she's too nice for me?
Yeah, very much so.
I say it all the time. Carolyn, way too nice for me. Way too nice for me. She could put on that edge, but that's a put on. She's not that mean.
No.
She couldn't handle me. She would fucking hate my guts within a month.
I think she understands the character of it, though, because, like, I've been friends with her for almost 20 years, and she's like, we've had many conversations about the fact that she knows that, like, me on stage is different than me off stage, and she understands that for somebody that's doing something in the public eye like this, like your show, like that comes with the territory.
The first thing she said to me when her and I went and saw Social D a couple weeks ago was, she couldn't wait to tell me how horrified she was at the birthday show.
Oh, well, yeah. How many? But I think everyone told you how horrified they were
I get that.
At the birthday show.
I get that, but this is 3 years later, and this is the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, but that was absolutely legendary.
Okay, but how is that any different than some of the fucking antics that have gone on in this house?
No. Your birthday show was at a whole different level.
I don't know, man. Some of the shit when I was ready to fucking when I'm climbing up the fucking couch to dive off and break through the fucking Star Wars foosball machine and shit, that was fucking nutty too.
You weren't having pornographic discussions with a 14-year-old.
This hole in this wall where I threw a glass. Look, that right there it is.
I was here for that one.
Yeah, when I threw the glass right through a wall.
And even I was like, you're like, what the fuck, dude? Quit being a fucking asshole. Stop that shit.
Shit goes on in my world that's fucking bizarre.
Demon said, this is like listening to The View with guys.
Well, that's fine. Don't listen. I don't care.
Yeah, I just think that, like, for the way that you and I live our lives, like, the normal chicks, like, the average woman, like, for what like, is acceptable in a relationship, they just would have no interest. That's why Steph and I work out, because she's not like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I play shows all the time, and my cover band's successful. We play to like 1,000 people every weekend. Right. And, there's women walking around. We play at a pool bar, and there's chicks in bikinis, like, watching us and singing along and coming up to us. And she don't care. It's like she gets it. It's,
naked chicks and fucking boxers.
Right? Yeah, and she doesn't care. But I know so many other people that did. I'll never forget. I had a girlfriend when Gatlin was selling out the Odeon. It was a sold-out Odeon show. There's 1,000 people, and I'm the lead singer of the headlining band. And my girlfriend comes up to me afterwards and says, this girl was looking at you. And I went, dude, there's 1,000 people here. I'm the lead singer of the headlining band. There's probably like 200 chicks looking at me. It's not because they want me. It's just I'm in a band. Like, there's no jealousy there.
There's definitely something to that, too. And that's why I said Steffi would probably be closest. But even she, Lord knows, and you know this, me and Steffi get along about as good as anybody. I mean, Stephanie loves me. I love Stephanie to death. We both know that. That's a mutual thing.
Yeah.
And that being said, at least once a quarter, we fucking hate each other.
She's told me that you guys just absolutely get into it.
we at least once a quarter, at least once every 3 months, she'll want this kind of encouragement, and I ain't giving it to her.
Yeah.
And it's always me that starts it. Yep. I'll be honest. It's always me. Because I'm just like, nope, not fucking happening. And she'll be like, well, what about, nope, not fucking going with it. And that's just how it works. But me and her always, we always work it out and whatever, But if she had a twin sister, I could not date her. I couldn't date her.
Yeah, there's that. Every once in a while, she is like, she's a chick, and she tells me that, and you know this, like that. Her main complaint is she's like, I know you love it because I hang out. I'm like one of the guys, but I'm, sometimes I'm not one of the guys. Yeah.
And that's I've always said that to her, that she has to pick A or B. She has to pick A or B.
I think it's on me. I can't lie, dude. I mean, I've had a hard time adjusting and like treating her that way, and I find myself making myself do it. I really don't think it's her, man. You can't be
one way and then get treated one way and then not be happy that you're treated that way.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I mean, being more the alpha in the relationship, like God bless her, she goes along with a lot of stuff.
Boy, does she?
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I think it's on me to really kind of like make sure that I'm not just treating her that way all the time, knowing that. But I mean, that's just me. And again, I'm different. Like, I mean, I'm married, and with her, her being who she is, I'm willing to do that. Whereas I was never willing to do that with anybody else.
Well, so I mean, a big part of it with you two, and I'm not trying to dig into your marriage and turn that into a fucking show topic, but a big part of it is you two are still trying to figure that whole thing out. And regardless of age, it's still a fucking brand new marriage. I mean, what are you, fucking a year next, 3 weeks?
4 weeks, I think, yeah.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, that's a baby.
Yeah.
That's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And it takes 5 before you figure it out. It does. It takes 5 good years to really figure out how you're gonna relate as a married couple, because it's a different relationship than a fucking dating couple.
Oh, beyond that. She and I talk about that all the time too.
It's totally
that
different.
How many people get married and it just isn't for the right reasons. It's we were dating, that's cute. Oh, we're boyfriend girlfriend, it's cute. Yeah. Oh, we're engaged, it's cute. Oh, we're married, it's cute. Yeah. Well, we've been together 3 years. So you better put a ring on it. Like, okay, yeah, that's it. That's good. Put a time limit on it. You know,
put a ring on it,
dude. I mean, like, in my I'm a perfect example because like I love being in relationships and shit. Right. And my whole life goal as a kid was like, all right, I want to be married by 25. I want to have kids at 26, and that's my thing. And I got married at 38. Yeah. And I'm not ever going to have a biological kid of my own unless, some medical miracle happens or we do it, but I was also adamant in the fact that like I wanted to wait until it was complete. I knew it was completely perfect.
Right.
And so many people don't do that. They're just like, oh, this is what's expected of me. It's the norm. And I was like, fuck that, dude. Having been engaged to my ex and just sitting there and just knowing that my life I still had 2/3 of my life to live, and if I married her, I'd be fucking absolutely miserable.
Yeah, you'd be divorced.
Oh, I would. I'd be one of those dudes that has like 2 or 3 kids right now and be totally divorced and have, I might not have the baby mama drama, but I would definitely fucking be driving back and forth.
You'd have the alimony drama.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, but and I got out of it. I was smart. But so many people are just like, well, this is what I have to do in life.
Yeah,
like
fuck
this is what people. It's like the accepted norm. It's like fuck that shit, dude.
Well, believe me, I wish I wouldn't have done it. Now, and obviously I got all the fucking perks out of the way, but, I honestly, short of my kids, I don't give two fucks about the rest of those 23 years.
So you took nothing out of it?
Nah. And she didn't either. Neither one of us can really fucking point to anything and say, well, that was cool, other than the kids.
If you had to go back and do it all over again.
Wouldn't do it in a fucking million years.
So it's a brutal question, but would you give up the kids to have those 23 years back?
No.
So they were enough to and I hate to use this word. I don't know if this is too harsh a word, but they were enough to suffer through those 23 years for.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely, because they turned out fucking damn near fucking perfect. No problems, no hassles. They're smart. They're not, fucking window lickers. Right? They're not tards. So, on that level, and they definitely care about me, probably most.
Oh, yeah.
Not that that's fucking good or bad, but
it's always good to keep score.
I'll take the win.
Right.
But other than that, no. I mean, it's funny because me and my ex get along. I saw her on Tuesday or Wednesday. She was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
She came up to see my son, and I just happened to be there. And when she was leaving, I walked out to the truck with her, and me and her just sort of chatted for 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
And there's none of that bullshit anymore. But she should have always been my friend. She should have always been my friend that I just happened to bang a couple of times. She should not have been my fucking wife. Because she's too fucking fucky for me. She's, of all the people.
Such an all-purpose word.
Of all the people, she's like the least likely to get me. Person that knows me better than anybody. And she's the least likely to get me. And she doesn't get me now. She doesn't get me now.
If she didn't up until now, there's no way she's going to,
But at least now there's no stress of me. And even with that no stress, there's still stress. She feels stress. What I do now, even though she's married to another dude and off in her own zone, stresses her out. What I do. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And to me, I'm not doing anything. I'm just living my life.
But for 23 years, if she didn't get you then, she's damn sure not going to get you now.
She really doesn't get it now. And obviously, I didn't help things with a book and, a book about a divorce and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that amount of, and again, that plays into who I am.
Yeah.
Never one to dodge a bullet.
Well, yeah.
That's a bullet I could have easily dodged. I didn't have to write a book. I didn't have to write a book on that subject. I have a million other subjects that everybody wants to read.
Well, you didn't fillet her like you could have, though, also.
No, I didn't.
I mean
but,
you had the legal thing on that, but you also...
But let's be honest. Of all of the battles, there was stuff that I wish I could have written into it, but for legal reasons, I'm not allowed.
When you kicked her ass, but you also admitted where you fucked up. I mean, there's a lot of that.
Well, there is, but that's because I'm not. And again, this goes into the weirdness of it is that I'm not so full of shit that I can't say that I fuck up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're honest. That's what we said that 20 minutes ago. But you're extreme. But you at the very least you're honest.
Well, I try to be because being extreme and fucking full of shit just means you're a liar.
Yeah. I mean, how many conversations have you and I had where we're just blasting each other, and each of us is going, "Okay, you're right on that," and you're right on like we may fucking berate each other, but each of us, okay, you're right, like we're never, no, fuck you, that's not true. Like it's not on the defensive. It's an honest, just really loud conversation.
Me and you at our worst, when I was throwing punches, never ended a fucking argument with "fuck you, I'm out of here."
Oh yeah,
Never.
Neither of us have.
Never. I mean, we've had our moments. We definitely, the fucking punches thrown on Dimebag's birthday.
You're right.
There's fucking legitimate punches thrown. But in the end, where were we? We hugged it out. We fucking talked it out. Stephanie yelled at me, and we were good.
Right. Oh, and I heard about it the next day, too.
And we were good. So, that's the way it works. But.
Well, it's that honesty, dude. And that's why, back to the original topic, I mean, in terms of dating, somebody will get it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find, but... I mean, I was in a whole nother state when I found mine.
No, I think a part of it is you have to be looking for it on some level.
No, actually, I think you have to not be looking for it.
Well,
dude, I mean, Steph and I still talk about how funny it is that really, I mean, we met because I was looking down her shirt.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I was playing bass in Hey There Morgan, and I was, I only lead sang in a couple tunes, and it was Boys of Summer, and I'm singing, playing bass, and she's down front, and it's like the stage was like 4 feet off the ground.
And those big titties.
Yeah, and she was wearing one of her cleavage shirt, and I looked down, I'm like, holy shit, look at her. And I mean, that's how we met, and I was, 3.5 hours from home, and
right.
I only played in Indiana like 2 or 3 times, but of course the one time I was there, she was there, and it's like,
there
you never know. I wasn't looking for it. I was dating another girl, and she had come with me. I wasn't looking for anything.
Sure,
but there it was, and now you just never know. But
you don't. I mean,
it also takes that special person that is really tolerant, and,
right? And I just have kind of settled into. I don't care.
That's where I was. I've been there for a lot of years, and I think that's when you really actually meet somebody that you actually.
Right.
Again, when you don't give a shit, you're just like, here the fuck I am.
Right.
Basically, all the people that can't handle it just fall by the wayside. It's the people that can handle it that stick around.
Right.
Because anybody that you feel like, first of all, the whole fuck you attitude turns people off because, like, oh, he's a cocky bastard.
Right.
Whereas people that, actually get it, when you, like, fuck you, I'm just who I am, they go, all right, that's cool. He's confident in who he is. Like, that's the first step right there.
Yeah. It's just it is what it is. I mean, right now, don't care. Just don't care. It's what it is.
I can't blame you there.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here. What do you think?
6 hours, huh?
Like that.
Like that. Well, I would like to throw a plug out real quick if I could.
Please do.
Because I don't think that
go ahead,
a lot of people
turn around and
do and knock shit off.
Knock shit down.
So, for any of you guys who have not gone back in the Spreaker archives, if you have not, what is it called? The placenta diet?
Yeah, the placenta diet. Bonus stuff.
Yes, it's bonus content, the placenta diet. It is one of the most vile things you will ever hear. And it's me and Aiken and my wife Steph, my brother AJ, and a little bit of my stepson Dominic. And it is some of the most disgusting shit you've ever heard. And the funniest thing is that Aiken and I are almost the straight men in it. It's my brother and Steph that are just completely off. It's fucked up, man, but it's hilarious. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check that out. It's pretty fucking brutal. So, that was, oh my God, that was bad.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough one. And we were loaded, man.
Oh,
we were definitely bombed.
That was that night where we were like, dude, we haven't hung out in a while, and you're like, I need a day off, and I'm like, yeah, I had just lost my job, and I'm like,
right,
let's cook out, and then we went through like 40, 50 beers or something.
40 or 50 beers.
A bunch of booze.
And you and I snuck away to have even more drinks at the bar.
All right.
Totally fucked up.
Oh, my God.
It's good shit, but... All right, we're going to get out of here. Neely will be back next week. I think Joe Hoekstra of... what's he in? Whitesnake? I think he's in Whitesnake. Joel from Whitesnake will be on the show.
Yeah, Hoekstra.
Yeah, he will be on the show next week. And John,
yes,
this was fun.
It was a blast, dude. Every time we do this, it's fucking. I'm like, God, 6 hours already?
Yeah, this went really fast, but definitely thank Gus G for checking in, and Mick Brown, and John Levin, and Pat Badger, and who else checked in?
Oh man, you had Mick Brown, Eddie Trunk, Mick Brown, that Chris dude, the bass player,
Chris McCarville checked in.
Yeah, you had Chips Enough
checked in.
I'm telling you, it's like Neely said, it was like a star-studded. You've never had this many guests on, maybe ever.
Yeah, no shit. So we are going to leave. I'm going to leave with some docking to make Neely fucking jizz himself.
Right?
So
I think he's jizzing right now, but it's not himself.
Yeah, no, it's up in his playmate at his fucking play date. So this is Dockin from Back for the Attack. This is Sleepless Nights, and until next time, it is Chris Aiken with my good friend
Jon Drake,
and we're out. See you, kiddies.
Later, dudes.